Hello everybody and welcome to another Quizcazoatl Lite, the bi-weekly-ish pre-recorded quiz event. Welcome back for all of our regulars in the event. Rare though it is that we have a new listener, welcome in new listeners. You are in for a rip-roaring treat of a quiz this week. The Quizcazoatl Lite quiz, the little brother of the Quizcazoatl Live quiz, which we will be back with next Tuesday, or Wednesday if you're Australian, is a quiz in 4 parts. Shortly I will take us to round 1. Round 1 and indeed round 2 both feature questions from our Quizcazoatl picture sheet. So do consider going to the picture link, bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures, and downloading those. You can have a look as I am going through. Being the light version, I am going to fire out the questions in short order. If, as I suspect may be the case, you have a little bit of trouble keeping up with that pace, then why don't you take advantage of your pause button? Just pause your YouTube video whenever I show you the international symbol of the pause here, or at the very least whenever you need to slow me down. Otherwise I'm just going to keep firing questions out and moving along. Of course you can also always rewind me if you want to. If you feel that way inclined, do post your scores as you go along onto the comment thread. I know there will be a few other teams playing and they are interested to know how well they are doing by comparison. Other than that, with no further ado whatsoever, except to tell you that I will take about, 45 minutes maybe reading this all out. It'll probably take you at least twice that to play, I suspect. Let us get on to round 1 and question 1. Oh, that's a bad start, isn't it? It's too low. Round 1, question 1. Which prehistoric monument on Salisbury Plain is thought to be over 5,000 years old? Which prehistoric monument on Salisbury Plain is thought to be over 5,000 years old? And on to question 2. Oh, that's question 3. It's all gone wrong already twice. By what first name is the TV adventurer Edward Michael Grills better known? By what first name is TV adventurer Edward Michael Grills better known? And question 3 takes us to our first picture. For anyone who hasn't played before, by the way, I will warn you in advance, I will be coming back with answers in dribs and drabs as we go. So I will do round 1, then the music round, then I'll give you some round 1 answers, then we'll start on round 2. At some point in that I'll give you music round answers, and at the very end I'll give you round 2 and wipeout round answers. Do mark it all at home. Do not use the normal live quiz marking link. No one will be looking. Anyway, on this picture we have 6 faces. Tell me who all of these individuals are for 6 points. Question 4. What word can be added to long, ox, cross and rain to make 4 new words? What word could be added to long, ox, cross and rain to make 4 new words? Question number 5. By land area, which 2 European islands are bigger than the island of Ireland? Say that one more time. By land area, which 2 European islands are bigger than the island of Ireland? Greenland is not included in this. And our second picture of the day, picture number 2 for question number 6. We have 3 Venn diagrams. Can you solve these puzzles? Tell me what lives where the question marks are. Question number 7. In animals such as cattle, the rumen is the largest compartment of which organ? For animals like cattle, the rumen is the largest compartment of which organ? Question number 8. Cutler's Hall is a public building in which English city? Historically famous for the manufacture of metal goods. Cutler's Hall is a public building in which English city? Historically famous for the manufacture of metal goods. Question 9. We have yet another picture for you, and we have 6 animals to identify. A crazy looking bunch they are too. Can you name them all? The number of dashes does match the number of letters in the names. And question 10. Which planet in the solar system was named after the Roman god of the sea? Which planet was named for the Roman god of the sea? Question 11. In football, how many different Italian football managers have won the English Premier League title? This is the men's football, I guess. In the men's football, how many different Italian managers have won the English Premier League title? As manager, I hasten to add, not current managers who won it when they were players. And question 12 takes us to another picture. We have got 5 films for you with a common actor, one of the most common of all the actors. Can you name 5 films and an actor for 6 points? Question number 30. How many general elections have been held in the UK in the 21st century? How many general elections have been held in the UK in the 21st century? And question number 14. It's a picture. Of course, it's a picture. Can you answer these 2 predictive texts? Can you work them out? Things that could come after the word hi. Question 15. What has most likely been typed into Google for it to suggest, did you mean nag a ram? Cryptic sort of question, I can't tell you much. What has most likely been typed into Google for it to suggest, did you mean nag a ram? And question 16. Which 1906 novel by E. Nesbit features Roberta, Peter, and Phyllis as the title characters? Which 1906 novel by E. Nesbit features Roberta, Peter, and Phyllis as title characters? Question 17 takes us to picture 6, and there's 4 more logos for you to identify. Can you give me the brands or companies associated with these 4? And question 18. Peter the Great. He was born in 1672 and was the leader of an empire. But with which modern-day country was that empire most closely associated? Peter the Great was most closely associated with which modern-day country? And for question 19, we have ourselves picture number 7. It's 4 faces. And a year of birth. Can you work out when these 4 likely looking characters were born? And what their names are? 5 points available in total. And for the final question of round 1, I am asking what word comes before cough in the common name for the respiratory infection that is medically known as pertussis? What word comes before cough in the common name for pertussis? That's the end of round 1, so just pause me until you're ready to go to the music, for when you unpause me, I will be playing you some music. Welcome back. As ever, I am going to be hitting you now with 6 songs spanning the decades from the 60s through to the 2010s. I ask you only to tell me the name of the songs and the names of the performing artists, what is playing them. 2 points available, therefore, for each song. I will play them once, and then you can use the rewind button to play them again as often as you choose. Here we go.
Wouldn't you like to have fun? Fun? How's about a few laughs? I could show you a good time. The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction. No reason, just seems so pleasing. Come make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination.
Everybody wants you. Everybody wants your love. I just like to make you mine, all mine. Na 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 na. Call me by my name. Call me by my number. Put me through it. I'll still be doing it the way I do it. And yet you try to make me forget who I really am. Don't tell me I know best. I'm not the same as all the rest. Thinking back, thinking of you. Summertime, think it was June. Yeah, think it was June. Laying back, hand on the grass, chewing gum, having some laughs. Yeah, having some laughs. Never feel like the one. Never feel like the one. Second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the...
That's this week's music. I'll put you on pause, replay it if you so desire. When we come back, I'll do the round 1 marking. Alright then, time for the round 1 marking. Question 1, I asked you which prehistoric monument was thought to be over 5,000 years old, and that was Stonehenge. Stonehenge for the point there. Question 2, I asked you by what first name is Edward Michael Grills better known? He is Bear. I assume that's some sort of Edward Teddy Bear thing. Question 3, we had 6 people to identify, commonly used full names, and they were Jimmy and Alan Carr, and then we had Sam and Ava Mendes, and then we had Joe and Nick Frost, Nanny Joe. Jimmy and Alan Carr, Sam and Eva Mendes, Joe and Nick Frost for 6 points. Question 4, what word can you add to long, ox, cross and rain? That was bow, oxbow, crossbow, rainbow, longbow for a point. Then by land area, which 2 islands are bigger than the island of Ireland? Greenland is not included, it's Great Britain and Iceland. Iceland. I think that Iceland being bigger than Ireland came up in the quiz once before, and I had completely forgotten about it and wrote Svalbard instead. So there you go. Question 6. Missing items from 3 Venn diagrams. We had Converse, and that's talking meets shoes. We had polish or Polish. And then we finally had Leon, as in Leonine, / Leon the sandwich shop. Converse, Polish, and Leon for 3 points. And question 7. In animals such as cattle, the rumen is the largest component of the stomach. We call them ruminants. And then for question 8, Cutlers Hall is a public building in Sheffield, the city of cutlers. Question 9, we had 6 creatures, and they were a possum. Then we had a tiny fraction of a plague of locusts. Then we had a chipmunk. Our jellyfish-ish beastie is a Portuguese man-o'-war. Then a fruit bat. And finally, with the sturdiest stomach in the animal kingdom, the monitor lizard. Possum, locust, chipmunk, Portuguese man-o'-war, fruit bat, and monitor lizard. Question 10. Name for the Roman god of the sea is Neptune. Neptune for a point there. And question 11. The number of football managers to have won the English Premier League, Italian football managers to have won the English Premier League is 4. That was Ancelotti, Mancini, Ranieri, and Conte. Question 12. We had some films and an actor to do, and they were Jurassic Park, then Independence Day, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Fly, and The Prince of Egypt. And in all of those, of course, for a 6th point, it's Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. Question 13. The number of general elections held in the UK in the 21st century is 6, an ongoing testament to the legacy of the Liberal Democrats that the Fixed-Term Parliament Act has been such a success. 6 elections in the 21st century. Question 14. 2 predictive texts. We had High Risk and High Wycombe. Risk and Wycombe. Then question 15. What has been typed into Google for it to suggest, did you mean Nagaram? It is anagram. Oh, what a hilarious Google joke. Silly Google. Question 16. Which 1906 novel by E. Nesbit features Roberta, Peter and Phyllis? That is The Railway Children. The Railway Children. And then for question 17, we had 4 logos, and they were Walkers, or if you are from beyond the British shores, that's the same logo for Lay's. We had Film 4, Nicorette for you no longer smokers, and finally Gusto, whatever that is. Walkers, Film 4, Nicorette, and Gusto, 4 points. Question 18. Peter the Great led an empire which has some precedential character in respect to Russia. Russia for the point. And then our people and year, and they were Peter Jackson. Then we had Meg Ryan. Then Forrest Whitaker. Then Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and the year would be 1961. 1961. We'll accept anything in the range 60 to 62. 5 points available on that one. Finally, for round 1, I asked you what word comes before cough. The common name for a respiratory infection known as pertussis. That is, of course, whooping cough. Whooping cough for a point. That is the round 1 answers. I'll be back with music round answers before too long. In the interim, let us get you going with the anagram for the start of round 2. Round 2, question 1. Can you rearrange the letters of wallaby herds to reveal the name of a famous British man? Or wallaby herds. Question number 2. Named after a town in the Po Valley, what A is one of the principal types of rice used in Italian risotto? Named after a town in the Po Valley, what A is one of the principal types of rice used in risotto? And question 3 of round 2. We have got some cities translated, perhaps loosely, into French. Can you work out what these 4 cities are? Question 4. The cosmetic technique of microblading, sounds painful, is typically used to alter or enhance which part of the body? The cosmetic technique of microblading is typically used to alter or enhance which part of the body? And on to question number 5. What word is defined as the application of scientific methods to the investigation of crime? The application of science to the investigation of crime. Question 6 is another picture. It is some when they were youngs. We've got 6 faces. Can you work out what those faces would look like if they were older and who they would belong to, having decided to look like that? 6 points available. Question number 7. Which female given name derives from the Latin for star? Which female given name derives from the Latin for star? I'll warn you in advance. There's a couple of sort of similar versions which would all be acceptable on this one. Then question number 8 is the mystery voices. I'm going to play you clips of 3 people talking. Listen to them and try and tell me who they are. 3 people means 3 points available.
Number 1.
Well, if you ask the ordinary run-of-the-mill reader if there is such a guy or such a gal, I guess that I write horror novels. I think that what I actually write are suspense novels.
Number 2.
Okay, the hardest part about being in a girl group for me was constantly being compared to 3 other girls and not feeling as though I was good enough.
Number 3.
So, I work for Greg Davis. I'm Greg Davis's assistant, obviously, and he's my father and my partner. And we set tasks to 5 comedians, and they come to this house, and they open up a task one by one and do it, and that's it.
All right, play those for yourselves again if you need to. In a moment, I'll be back with question 9. Question number 9. In 1927, who became the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and who, 5 years later, became the first woman to do so? In 1927, who became the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and who, 5 years later, became the first woman to do so? For question 10, I've got a bit of a change of pace. No odd one out this week. Instead, I have a full 10. Goodness me, too many points for a question if ever there were. 10 female solo artists to identify. These are all individuals with 5 or more UK #1 hit singles. And if you've worked all those out, it's time to go to number 11. What is Michelle Obama's maiden name? It is also the surname of a title character in a Simon and Garfunkel song. Question 12 takes us to picture number 11. We have got, what have we got there? 6 bits of planes and boats for you. Can you identify all of these? And for question 13, what was the animal-related nickname of the French tennis star and businessman René Lacoste? What was the animal-related nickname of René Lacoste? And for no particular reason, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to go and do our music round markings. So get your music round answers back. In the 1960s, it was Big Spender. The artist was Shirley Bassey. Into the 70s, the artist was The Pretenders, and they had Brass in Pocket. Brass in Pocket for the point. Onwards into the 80s. The song was Give It Up. It was KC and the Sunshine Band. In the 90s, I remember it well. I saw Nick Kershaw perform it live a couple of years ago at W Fest. But it was not sung there by Nick Kershaw. That was Chesney Hawkes. Nick Kershaw wrote it, but it's Chesney Hawkes with The One and Only. And the 2000s, we had Dakota by the Stereophonics. And in the 2010s, I've never heard of it, but then I never have. It's Believer by Imagine Dragons. Those again, Big Spender, Shirley Bassey. Brass in Pocket, The Pretenders. Give It Up, KC and the Sunshine Band. The One and Only, Chesney Hawkes. Dakota by the Stereophonics. And Believer, Imagine Dragons. I don't honestly know why I put the pause sign on there, but I did. You can't stop me. But anyway, so we paused, now you've unpaused, and it's time for question 14, which is, of course, another picture. Can you work out these 6 paraphrase technology brands for 6 points? Oh, hang on, I've blotted my copybook. That's meant to be question 15. Question 14, I was looking at the wrong round for my clues. Question 14 should be the mashup. So let's get rid of this for a second. And let me give you your question 14 mashups. Let me put this up as well, it'll feel more professional. There we go. I'll play 'em once and then I'll pause and you can do what you like.
Number 1. Number 2.
Am I more than you bargained for yet? I'm dying to tell you everything you wanna hear, 'cause that's just who I am this week. Lie in the grass next to the mausoleum. I'm just a notching up, but you're just a lot in a song.
Number 3.
That beauty and that style went kinda smooth after a while. Take me to that dirty ladies every time. Come on. Oh, won't you take me home tonight?
And I realised in the kerfuffle at having forgotten the order of the questions, I didn't really properly clarify. I want the artists on those mashups. So it's 3 mashup songs. I'm looking for the 6 artists, 1 for each lyric and 1 for each piece of music. Well, the music melds, but you get the idea. If you need to play them again, I suggest you do so now. And we're back for question 15, which I've already put up once. 6 paraphrase technology brands for picture number 12. Question 16. The national flags of Belgium, Thailand and Colombia all feature which colour? Which colour is common to the flags of Belgium, Thailand and Colombia? Picture number 13 for question 17, and we have some more 1-letter changed phrases. Well, if you've done it before, you know how. If you haven't done it before, have a look and you'll work it out. Each word has had 1 letter changed. Question 18, edging into the end of round 2. Joel Furr, good name, is said to have coined what common computer term in 1993? He was inspired by a Monty Python sketch. Joel Furr is said to have coined what common computing term in 1993? Our final picture of the day is picture 14, and we have got a hidden city. Can you string together the 5 coloured countries to make the name of a city? That's 6 points available in total. And finally for round 2. Named after a botanist born in 1773. For question 20, can you tell me what 2-word term describes the random movement of particles that are suspended in a fluid? Named for a botanist born in 1773, what 2-word term describes the random movement of particles suspended in a fluid? I'll give you a pause to get your thoughts together, and after that we're going to be coming to our final round, the wipeout round. Alrighty, all of our regulars know the score. If you are irregular, eat more fibre. If that doesn't help, know this. The last letter of every answer in the wipeout round is the first letter of the subsequent answer. If you get all 6 right, we will give you 2 bonus points. If you get any of them wrong, you will lose all of your wipeout points. Capiche? Let's get to it. So, wipeout question number 1. In the name of the test to measure how a person's heart is functioning, what do the letters ECG stand for? In the name of the test to measure how a person's heart is functioning, what do the letters ECG stand for? Wipeout question 2, and in case you hadn't worked it out, I'm going to use the wipeout sign instead of the pause button for this bit of the quiz. Wipeout 2, an annual Cinco de Mayo celebration, commemorates the victory of which country against the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla? An annual Cinco de Mayo celebration commemorates the victory of which country against the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla? Wipeout question 3. Which American soul singer had a hit with Try a Little Tenderness just a year before he died in a plane crash, age 26? Wipeout question 4. Which cooking ingredient has the scientific name Allium sativum? Which cooking ingredient is called Allium sativum? Wipeout question 5. Including an historical name for China, what's the common two-word name for the flag carrier airline of Hong Kong? Including an historical name for China. Look at that correct use of an. What's the common two-word name for the flag carrying airline of Hong Kong? And our final question for this week's quiz. Can you tell me, question 6 of the Wipeout, which Latin phrase, which is still in use today, translates into English as course of life? Which Latin phrase that is still in common use today translates as course of life? Well, you stick yourselves on pause for as long as you need. When you come back, I'm going to give you all of the remaining answers. Okay, here we go. Round 2 answers. For question 1, Wallaby Herds was the name of Bradley Walsh. Wallaby Herds, Bradley Walsh for a point. Question 2, name for a town in the Po Valley. Arborio rice is used in risotto. Arborio for the point. Question 4, with some loosely translated French, hang on, what am I trying to say? English cities loosely translated, British cities loosely translated into French. We had first Newcastle, then Plymouth, then Belfast, and finally Glasgow. Question 4, that's 4 points there, Newcastle, Plymouth, Belfast, Glasgow. Question 4, microblading sounds like a terrible idea, but apparently they do it to your eyebrows. Eyebrows for a point. Then question 5, the application of scientific method to the investigation of crime is forensics. Forensics for a point. Question 6, we had 6 people when they were younger, and they were Heidi Klum, Danny Dyer, Adele, Tom Cruise, Rita Ora, and Bill Bailey. Well, he pretty much wiped out on that, although he did get Tom Cruise. We were looking for Heidi Klum, Danny Dyer, Adele, Tom Cruise, Rita Ora, and Bill Bailey. 6 points there. Question 7, the female name derived from the Latin for star is Stella. Estelle or Estella is also fine. And then Mystery Voices, 3 people were Stephen King, then someone called Jesse Nelson, and finally Alex Horn. Stephen King, Jesse Nelson, and Alex Horn. Question 9. Solo adventurers who crossed the Atlantic Ocean in their airplanes were Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart. 2 points for Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart. And then for question 10, our bumper 10-pointer, we were looking for Madonna, Cheryl, I assume Cheryl Baker until someone proves differently, then Jess Glynn, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Britney Spears, Beyonce. I was at a festival once where they had a Beyonce castle. True story. Then Kylie Minogue, Ariana Grande, and Lady Gaga. Who's again, not apparently in the order that they were on the sheet, but so it goes. Madonna, Cheryl, Jess Glynn, Rihanna, Katy Perry, or maybe I just had Madonna in the wrong place. I feel like Madonna and Beyonce have the same number of letters and N in the same place. Alright, fine, that'll explain it. Madonna, Cheryl, Jess Glynn, Rihanna. How many letters does Rihanna have? We'll just move forwards. Madonna, Cheryl, Jess Glynn, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Britney Spears, Beyonce, Kylie Minogue, Ariana Grande, and Lady Gaga for 10 points. Question 11. Michelle Obama's first name is Robinson. Robinson. Then question 12. 6 parts of a boat were, or a plane, were the fuselage, the figurehead, the afterburner, the gunnel, spelt gunwale, Gunwale. On the wing of the plane we have the aileron, Aileron. You don't have to test yourself on spelling, I just thought you might want to know. And finally, round about the sail of that boat, we had a spinnaker. Fuselage, figurehead, afterburner, gunnel, aileron, and spinnaker. Question 13. Oh no, what's happened here? Oh no, it's just my screen went black. I thought we'd crashed. Just hadn't moved my mouse for a while. Everything's okay. Question 13. René Lacoste was known as the Crocodile. Then our mashups. The 6 artists involved were Blur and Nirvana. Then Carl Douglas and Fall Out Boy. Finally, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Queen. Blur, Nirvana, Carl Douglas, Fall Out Boy, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Queen for 6 points. Question 15. Our paraphrased technology brands were Intel, Samsung, Sony, Dell, Hitachi, and finally NEC. Intel, Samsung, Sony, Dell, Hitachi, and NEC. Question 16. The national flags of Belgium, Thailand, and Colombia all feature which colour? They are all flags with red on. Red. And then question 17. 4 phrases and sayings with a letter changed in each word. We had first fall from grace. Then it should change to pie in the sky. Paint the town red. And keep your nose clean. Difficult to do all those at the same time, isn't it? Fall from grace, pie in the sky, paint the town red, and keep your nose clean. Question 18. Joel Furr coined the term spam. Spam for a point. Question 19. 5 countries were Poland, Azerbaijan, Romania, Iraq, and Slovenia. And the first letters of those spell out Paris for a 6 point. And finally, question 20. Name for a botanist born in 1773. The random movement of particles is Brownian motion. You'll need that for your infinite improbability drive. Brownian motion for a point. And finally, our wipeout answers. The ECG is an electrocardiogram. The Battle of Puebla was a battle in which Mexico defeated France, celebrated on Cinco de Mayo. Mexico for the point. Question wipeout 3. Otis Redding had a hit with Try a Little Tenderness a year before being killed in a plane crash. Otis Redding. Question 4. Allium sativum is garlic. Question 5. Did I just say 7? Losing the world. Question 4 was garlic. Question wipeout 5. The flag carrier airline of Hong Kong is Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific. If you've got Cathay anything else, that is a wipeout. Question 6. A Latin phrase still in common use today that translates into course of life. That is curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae. Those wipeout answers again. Electrocardiogram, Mexico, Otis Redding, Garlic, Cathay Pacific, and curriculum vitae. If you got all 6 of those, give yourself a bonus 2 points. If you got anything wrong, give yourself no points for the wipeout round. Bad luck. That is it from me for today. Post your scores, trials and tribulations to the comment thread if you'd like everyone else to know how well you did. Jane is telling me in the background that we managed to get 90 when we whizzed through it earlier. That's okay, isn't it, just for me and Jane? Hopefully you guys have managed to do better than that though. We will be back, same bat time, same bat channel next week with a full fat Quizcazoatl live. In the meantime, stay safe, have a good week. We'll see you then.